Hello, my name is Odin Garcia, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'll be talking about the 5 things all musicians must do, but don't. Okay, so I got this idea because honestly, these are all things that I either do or definitely need to do better that I think all musicians and really all creatives should be doing. So what I mean by creatives, I mean if you draw, if you write, if you make videos like I do on YouTube, anything that's, a creative outlet, whether you get compensated or not. Obviously for musicians, I'm one that does get compensated, and this is kind of geared towards that kind of mindset, like a professional in music or a creative field. But, you can very well have a passion that you spend a lot of time and energy on that doesn't compensate you. That's totally fine and awesome. And these goals would still apply to you in those scenarios. So let's begin. They're in no particular order. It's just 5 things that all musicians must be doing but don't. Okay, here we go. Number 1, set goals. I know so many musicians that don't set any goals. They just keep practicing and working and getting gigs and all that, and they're recording and doing sessions, and they're doing great, but they're just hamsters on a wheel. There's no goal at all. There's no focus on what the week, month, or year should look like, can look like, and what you want it to look like. And I think that's a huge problem because it's so hard doing this field and so much time and energy goes into it that you have to set some goals so you can, 1, track yourself, and 2, kind of feel like you're reaching, certain levels of achievement, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Now, I do all those things. I have a planner. And in my planner, I put my goals for the day. When I wake up in the morning, I probably do one of those too, like what I do in the wake up in the morning, just in general. But I wake up in the morning, I write down the things that I want to accomplish that day, put a date on it, and then I try to knock it all out. Now, I fail plenty of days, but at least it sets my goals for, hey, an awesome day is if I do this, this, and this, right? And I do the same thing for the week. I do the same thing for the month, and I do the same thing for the year. And it adjusts as time adjusts, as my goals adjust, as, it's not like a written in stone thing, but it's a good thing to kind of keep my eyes on the proverbial prize and understand what I think a good accomplishment for me would be, because we're all at different levels. For me, a great goal is maybe releasing an album. For another musician, it might be going on tour. For another musician, it might be making more money than last year. For another musician, it might be just doing more practice time or whatever it is. There's so many different goals you can have, but you need to set them. You need to set goals so you know what you're going for, and you can also kind of feel a sense of accomplishment. There's no making it in music, as any musician will tell you. You just keep getting better and keep doing more, hopefully. But if you don't start to set goals and see what a successful week, month, or year means for you, I promise you, after a little bit of time, you are gonna feel like a hamster on a wheel, and you're gonna feel very unsatisfied despite your success because you never defined what your goals were. Number 2, rest. You gotta relax. You have to rest. Rest is so important. Millennials get a lot of garbage thrown at them for being lazy and privileged and spoiled and all that kind of stuff, even if the money's not there to justify that, just with an attitude and a work ethic. But the millennials that I know and I aspire to be with and I'm inspired by, they work hard. They work super hard. They're some of the hardest working people I know, whether it's gigging, teaching, performing, mixing their creative with the traditional job, like, working in a restaurant or doing side hustles like Uber and all that. They're just doing so much all the time. And sometimes I have to, tell people, I'm like, are you getting rest? Are you relaxing? Like, you shouldn't be working that hard. And, again, it becomes the hamster on a wheel, and it becomes, no, I have to keep going, Edwin, because I won't stop till whatever. And then the goal becomes toxic, right? It's like, I won't stop till I make 40 grand. And last year I only made 18. So because of that, I will not give myself a rest day. I will not quit until I get that goal. And yes, ideally that's inspiring and motivational, and I encourage you to go for that goal. But do you have to kill yourself to do it? Can you take tomorrow off? Can you take a day off? Can you rest? Have you had a vacation? When's the last time you just walked away and relaxed like a regular human being is supposed to, And for them, so a lot of musicians, they just justify the actions with the work ethic. And I'm very proud of them for having a good work ethic, but you're not gonna make it in this industry if you work like that, because eventually you're gonna burn out. You're gonna crash. It's gonna happen. I like to think long term. I'm at this point in my life, I'm trying to be in music for the next 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So ask yourself, the way you work now, is 50 years sustainable? If you think the answer is no, then you need to adjust some things, because that's what my goal is. Now, if your goal is just to release one album and be done, then I guess, do it how you want, because it's only one time. But I'm trying to do this forever. And if you're trying to do it forever, that means it has to be sustainable. And a lot of you just aren't getting 8 hours of sleep. You're not even getting 6 hours. I usually try to get around 6 total. I might take a power nap or something, because, sometimes I do get busy too, just like everyone else. But I try to make sure I'm getting at least 6 total. You should be getting 8, as you know. But there's also rest in other ways. Taking days off, relaxing, spending time with your family, spending time with your loved ones, just doing nothing. Just saying, hey, I'm going to watch TV, I'm going to hang out, and I'm just going to have breakfast and just watch a movie, and I'm not really going to do that kind of work today. It's important, because if you don't sharpen the blade, you're not going to be able to utilize it. You're just going to get dull and just keep going, and you'll keep doing the work you're doing, but it will not be as good as if you had a rest. So please, rest. Number 3, making time for business. Now again, this one's definitely for any creative that's a professional, but you need business time. I think my college did a lot of great things. I went to UIC, go Flames, and we did a lot of great. It was great for my my ability to push myself in my instrument and really see what I needed to do, and to push myself musically to be the best person I could be, the best musician I could be. It was great for that. Business wise, it was okay. I think my school was better than a lot of other stories I've heard. We did have some master classes, we did have some seminars. We had a jazz aesthetics class that really broke down kind of everything, but we only met once a week, and it was only one semester, so I think we need more than that. But the content was there. I know so many musicians, the reason they're unsuccessful is not their skill. It's their business acumen. It's terrible. They don't have a Facebook. They don't have a Twitter. They don't have an Instagram. They don't have a website. They don't have a business card. They don't have good YouTube videos. They're not on Spotify. They're not on Apple Music. They're just like, somehow, despite all that, they're doing work because they're so good that they're able to, meet the right people and show them with their music, or they're played enough that people in the industry kind of know, and they're getting enough gigs. But I'm like, if you would do the other stuff, oh man, you could probably double your income, And a lot of them don't think that, because they think that it's not true, but then also don't try it out, so there's no evidence that it isn't true, and it gets me frustrated. And I know a lot of other musicians in way worse situations where they are good enough to do it, but because they don't do all the business things right, they're stuck where they only get a couple gigs, and they're wondering why. And it's because you don't have any professional email list, you don't have yourself visible on social media, you don't have a good website, you don't have a good business card. Like, all those things are so important. Unfortunately, as part of the music business, talent is like at most half. Honestly, the business stuff is the other half. And I know that bums a lot of musicians out. But again, if you want to make money on this, that's the truth. That's how the business works. If you just want to make music because you love it, like for real, then hey, you don't have to do any of this stuff. You could just, release your album, no one cares, and don't ask for $1, and you're fine. But the minute you want to make it a living, you have to kind of give away that dream and understand that, hey, musically, you can do what you want. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about making sure the people who are interested in that music listen to it. So we're not talking about anything creative. This is just it doesn't matter what you do. You need to have the business cards. You need to have your websites. You don't have to be on all the social medias if you don't want to. I understand that. You are losing money, but if you really don't want to, that's fine. Just find the ones you enjoy and work hard on those. But you have to do the work. You have to do the time. And it's a shame that there's some musicians who've put 10,000 hours into learning the guitar, but refuse to put 2 hours into learning what a WordPress widget is. And I'm like, unfortunately, that WordPress widget's probably more valuable than your guitar playing, but you'll never know because you don't want to do the work. So that's part of being a professional. If you want to be a professional, you gotta make room for the business stuff. You gotta learn it, because it's only gonna pay off in the end. Because now that you have the incredible talent, it can be visible and shown to as many people that are interested. Number 4, exercise. So again, another one. I'm gonna try to be careful on this one because people get very sensitive about health and exercise. But in general, I've seen a lot of musicians that their energy is low. I've seen pictures of them before, and they looked a lot healthier. And they also seem to be, now that I see them, living a very unhealthy lifestyle. And they seem sluggish, slow, out of shape, low energy, just kind of, again, the mind's just willing them through. It's not their body. And, it's, again, is it sustainable? I'm like, I get concerned for some of my friends. I'm like, man, I saw you 3 years ago, and congrats on the career, but, kind of a mess over here. And, again, that goes with this. It's all a combination, right? You haven't been resting, so, you're overworked. And then your nutrition's bad because you're so busy, you don't have time to do this and that, and it just starts to become a vicious cycle. So again, working out's important. Exercise is important, not only because it's literally good for your body. It helps, for anyone who's worked out when they're frustrated or in a rut. It helps it like cleans your mind and your body. You kind of just get away from it all. Do something that's actionable. Do something that gets your sweat going, your blood pumping. You just start moving, and it's so important because especially musicianship's actually a pretty sedentary life. I'll speak for myself. I'm a piano player. So every day when I'm sitting over here, I'm sitting, right? I sit for hours and I practice. And then I'm on this computer and I'm composing for hours and I practice when I'm doing my compositional work. When I'm working on game audio and using programs like Wise, again, sitting down on a computer. When I go to a gig, I drive, I sit and I go. Then I set up and I'm just sitting all day. And yeah, I'm working really hard and I'm pushing myself. And it's a lot of hours, but I'm not moving much. And I think a lot of musicians are in the same boat. The biggest exercise we get is when we haul the gear into the gig and, we make that joke, oh, I got my ab workout today, but you didn't get an ab workout. You just moved your bass, or your amp up a flight of stairs. That's not a workout. That's just you doing your job. So, we have to do actual workouts. We need to work out. We need to get healthier. It's going to make you feel better. You're going to be more energized, and it's going to give you a chance to also do something else, get those endorphins going, feel better about yourself and keep yourself healthy. Again, if you die, what's the point of all this? If you die early because you were not eating well, not resting, not working out, I don't want that. I want everyone in the industry to have their life expectancy kind of maxed out. Whatever, life's random, but do your part to make it as long as possible and as healthy as possible, because that's what really matters. So please, if you're not working out, work out. I'll probably do another video about a few of these things, in depth later on, maybe in 2020. Those would be good ones. But really quick, I'll just give you a few things that I do. I try to do some short yoga videos, Blogilates has some really good yoga videos that are 7, 5, 14 minutes long, pretty short. I do those. I've done body fitness stuff before, which is a little longer. It's 30 minutes, hit cardio. I've done running. I do running a lot, but that's a little more time of a time sink. You just got to find something. Something's better than nothing. A lot of people are literally doing nothing. They're doing nothing at all. And that's not good. Go for a walk. Maybe you just need to start baby steps. You're like, okay, I'm going to just, I'm going to put on a podcast and I'm going to walk around my neighborhood, or I'm going to put on my favorite 3 songs. I'm going to walk for 15 minutes and then go back, Find ways to make yourself get a little more movement, a little more action, so you're not just waking up, like a pod person and then going to your instrument, working, and then you pass out and you just repeat the cycle. Break that cycle. Start working out. You'll feel better. It's good for your health. Figure out a time that works for you, and if it's got to be a small thing, the Blogilates videos are really good because they can be as short as 5 minutes, and I think you owe yourself 5 minutes. It's not if you don't have the time. We have 24 hours. We decide what that time goes to. You need to decide that it goes to your health, because that's what you need to do to live a long life. And number 5, other passions. Now, this one's kind of a pot meets kettle thing as well, because I did this for a few years when I was going to college. I just cut off everything that wasn't music. If it wasn't music, I cut it off. Now, I was in a different scenario where I still think that was, maybe not the best idea, but a good one. And I'll go into my whole life, on another video, talking about how I even got to where I'm at. But the point is, that's what I did. I went extreme. I stopped watching sports. I stopped playing video games. I stopped watching TV. I cut out everything. I'm like, I'm just going to play and go to school, and that's it. And while it was interesting and kind of fun to be in that box that extreme, I do kind of regret it because I'm like, it didn't need to be that extreme. It was too much. And especially now that I'm out here, again, being sustainable, you need other passions. You'll burn out. You'll just start getting sick of it. You'll start hating it. You'll start regretting it and like having a toxic relationship with music. You want to always feel like you're pumped and you're excited to practice. You're excited to teach. You're excited to play. And you're so energized for all your creative outlets. And the best way to do that is doing all these things. Making sure you got the business stuff together. That way you can, optimize your skill set. Making sure you're setting goals so you're actually reaching them and understanding how satisfying they can be. Making sure you're resting so you can keep being out there. Making sure you're working out so you can stay healthy and live a good life. And then other passions. So other passions can literally be anything. It could be video games. It could be watching, TV shows, watching Netflix. As long as you watch it healthy, that's another thing. People binge stuff. I mean, picking some movies you've never watched and saying, hey, I'm going to check that out this Friday. That's what I'm going to do, right? Watching movies, being a big Marvel fan, checking out the movies, getting into that, getting into, different, artistic things. Maybe you like to read comic books, maybe you like graphic novels, or maybe you like books and you haven't read a lot of really good lit books that you've been meaning to get around to. Just start small, do something else, do something that you're passionate about, that you enjoy, that you can explore and makes you satisfied and happy as a human being, that isn't music related. Make sure it's not music related. That's the key here, because I want you to have something else that energizes you, gives you satisfaction and maybe even purpose that isn't music, because you need those healthy things. Variety is the spice of life. You need a little bit more to kind of sustain you. That way you can be like, hey, I can turn that part of my mind off. I'm still getting into something I really love, but it's something different, and it's kind of a refreshing, change of pace. So make sure you have other passions. For me, video games is one. You can kind of argue it's too close to home because I'm working on video game music, so maybe too close, but video games is one if that wouldn't count. Other ones I would have would be doing some reading. Right now I've done a lot of reading that's for work, so that wouldn't count at this moment for me either. But one thing that would count would be like TV shows. Like I'm a big Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan. I've been watching that series. I just caught up. I'm trying to catch up. I'm like on season 5 or something, so don't tell me what happens if you watch the show. But I'm enjoying that. I enjoy watching a lot of pilots of shows. I'm kind of weird like that. I'll just be like, I wonder what the first episode looks like, and I might not watch again. I just want to see how they kind of convey the story of the world they're making. So I watch that. I have some graphic novels, and those are totally not music related at all. I like reading graphic novels. They're really awesome. There's a lot I could recommend there. And sports. I love watching basketball and soccer specifically. Football's cool too. I watch football, but just not as much right now. That always ebbs and flows for me. Different years, different times. I'm more into one or the other. Love watching some streamers. I love the video game Forza, so I watch some people streaming that, or I watch the Forza podcast that they do on Twitch and stuff. Really fun stuff that I just put to kick back, relax. Love doing things like lighting up incense, drinking a beer at home, watching some TV. Those are just some relaxing things I'm passionate about that aren't music related. And you need those because this industry is really hard. And if you don't find ways to rest, if you don't find ways to live a healthy lifestyle, if you don't find ways to set goals, learn your business, and have other passions, if you're not doing those 5 things, or at least trying to get to all of them, I can guarantee you're not going to be in this industry for long. Maybe you have a good year, a good 2 years, good 3 years, but 5, 10, 15, 20, I'm going to bet against you, unfortunately. And I don't want to. I want to bet on you and be like, oh, you're going to go forever if you want, and if you quit, it'll just be because you chose to, not because you burnt out to the point where you gave up, and that's what I want. I want everyone to live their life the way they want to, and to do it on their terms. But the best way to do that is setting yourself up for success. And I think these are 5 things that all musicians and really all creatives must do, but don't. So let me know in the comments below. I'm sure there's plenty of other things that you could be doing that would help your career, maybe that I could be doing to help my career, that aren't exactly, go home and practice. We all know that one. So if you're not practicing enough, as you know, you should probably be practicing too. So that goes without being said. So if you have any ideas of things that all musicians must do but don't, leave them in the comments below. I'll read them, and maybe I'll make a part 2 or something like that. That could be a lot of fun. All right, so that's it for me. My name's Edwin Garcia. If you like this video, please make sure to like it and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I'll talk to you next time. Later.